When someone says you changed, what they oftentimes mean is you grew beyond what they had envisioned for you in your life. Have you ever had somebody say that and you maybe have not seen them in a while, or it's been several seasons and since you've actually interacted with them and they say, hey, Brian, or hey, your name, you've changed. What they're really talking about is this version of you that they had that pre-existed, that maybe how they remembered you, you've now exceeded that. And in many ways, that's great because that's what growth is. And so today's conversation is going to be about ways that you can actually intentionally change. How do you grow in seasons intentionally and make sure you don't stay the same? So one of my mentors years ago talked about many people will live the same year 5, 10 times. And so in 5 years or 10 years, what they've actually done is just live the same year, the same habits, the routines, the same mindset, the same belief system, the same friend circle, the same experiences. They just repeated the same year over year, and they wonder why they haven't grown. Look, and if that's you, let me just confess to you that I've had those years where it just looked like the year before. There wasn't much growth, there wasn't much progress, and I found myself many times at the midway point or even earlier going, I'm not where I want to be. And so if you're there now, or you're leading team members today, this is a great opportunity for you in either one of those camps. We're going to talk about intentional focus, intentional growth today, and how you can make sure you're not living the same season in a year from now, 5 years from now. People can say, you've changed, and for the better. And so I love this conversation. As we jump into this, I think about the hours that are unseen. And for many of us, this is where change really happens. We want to be on the stage, we want to be in the spotlight. Maybe we're speaking in front of our team. Maybe we're out and doing things. And we often think about being on the stage, right? As an athlete, you think about they're on the field. That's not when change happens. How they show up and perform on game day during the field and on the field and in that moment is just because of their preparation, both mentally and physically with their team. It's in the off season when you're lifting weights, you're working on your endurance, you're working on your strength and your speed, you're working on your skills, all these things. See, I know that from playing D1 college soccer it was many times in the off season that you saw the most amount of growth, and people would come back the next season. You're like, man, what were they doing all season? Why are they so much better than they were last year? And I remember after my freshman year, I had unfortunately torn my ACL at the end of the season, and it was 9 months of recovery to get back and to get ready. And so, yes, a lot changed for me. A lot was happening there. But I remember that was a huge season mentally. Yes, physically, because I'm going through PT and I'm getting my knee rehabbed and getting everything back together. But mentally, coming back from an injury, if you've ever had that before, it was not being afraid to make that first tackle, not being afraid to trust that all of the work I had done in those 9 months leading up to the season, that my ligament was going to hold up, that my body was prepared to compete at the highest level. And so there were things that we did along the way just to incrementally get ready for the season. So I just invite you to consider this is wherever you are right now, we just finished kind of the midway point of the year. And for a lot of us, we've got kids that are going back to school. I know with us within 2 weeks, and things are going to change. But incremental wins is what I want to talk about to you right now. And when I think back to even my ACL, and the incremental wins was just getting some of that mobility back, working some of the scar tissue down, making sure that I was able to walk, making sure that I was able to then jog and then ultimately run. I remember the first time I went running, it was awkward. It was very different. And so if that's you today and you're thinking about the things that you're working on and you are looking for these incremental wins, I would tell you they're found in the unseen hours. They're found in the times that you're making the calls that nobody sees. They're found in the follow-up that you know you need to prospect. And maybe somebody's ghosted you, or you just know that you need to reach back out to them. You see, recently, I'm going to grab this book. For those of you that are watching, if you can't see it, it's Wealthy and Well-Known. Put a little plug in for our friends Rory and AJ Vaden. And what we did is we sent out over 100 copies. And in addition to that, we added one extra copy for everybody that we mailed these to, and we sent them to their home and said, hey, here's a copy for you. Here's a copy to give to someone that you think would enjoy it. And it's been great because people have reached out to me like, Brian, I love this. I already know who I'm going to give my second copy of the book to. And it's just a way for you to add value, to stay top of mind, to be someone that is incrementally winning. And I think about this as out of those 100 books, the people that read those and the ones that give that book out, now they've given it to someone else, and their network, as they read through the book and they find value like I did, these are incremental wins that we're helping other people accomplish. But it's also an incremental win for me because these are now not just going to the 100 people that we mailed them to, but the people that got the extra book are now handing them out to others. And so as you're listening to this, I'll just put a plug out there. If you want a copy of the book, DM me, let me know your home address and everything there. We've got a few extra copies and I'll be mailing out some of those. So it's kind of a first come, first serve basis. If you're listening to this and you're one of our loyal listeners, I want to give you something if you've not already picked up a copy of that. So let's jump back into these incremental wins. I think about in business, right now, there's a lot of us that we are looking at the scoreboard, and after mid-year, I know some of my friends that they're ahead, right? Like they're having a great year. Even in mortgage and real estate, you might see the headlines, but they're having a great year. But it's really because of the 6 months, the year prior to where we are today, that they stayed disciplined. They stayed diligent about doing the activities, prospecting, recruiting, making sure that they were out in front of people with social media and getting direct to consumer. They were following up on their process. They were hiring the right people. Like all these things will stack up as incremental wins. And you'll look up one day and people are going to say you've changed. Some might even say you got lucky. I had someone say that the other day. Well, must be nice to be you, Brian. I've been doing this for over 20 years and you just have this great big network and all of these things. I'm like, yeah, and you weren't there on the trips, in the late nights, in the sacrifices, in the times that I'm flying away from family. You weren't there when I showed up to events and spent my own money to invest in myself and to get into rooms that cost money to be around people that, yes, built connections in a network. So yeah, it may look that way. And you may see people in your market today and go, it must be easy for them. Well, it's easier today because they did the work prior. And I often think about this in just relation, because many of us were on some type of journey with our health and our fitness, is it's easier to watch someone running today and say, wow, man, they're a great runner. But I guarantee you, if you were to talk to them about seasons in their life that they were not a great runner and they had to push through and they had to learn how to run, they had to learn how to eat properly, they had to learn how to get their mental toughness. Maybe it was even their shoes that they wore, their preparation, how they paced themselves, what technology they use to track their heart rate, all of these things. It might look easy, but these incremental wins that they all have, those were stacked over months, years. And so it might look easy. And we want to get to that point to where the things that we do are in such a flow state that people go, yeah, man, you're just really good at what you do. You've changed. You've changed. And so today, wherever you are, I invite you to consider 3 things as you look at it. One, I think the best gift you can give to yourself is a true self-assessment. Where are you in relation to how you define success? And in this season of your life, what does success look like for you? And get very granular on that. The time you're spending with your family, the time you're spending in your health and fitness, the income that you're making, the savings and investments that you're doing there, the person that you're becoming through podcasts and books and how you're showing up. Maybe it's speaking. Maybe it's doing your own podcast that you've got out there. Give yourself a rating and a real honest self-evaluation. Because you see, those unseen hours are unseen hours. They are not hours that other people see. And so therefore, your coaches, your friends, your people in your circle may not even see whether you're doing the work or not. But you know the work you've actually been putting in. So give yourself a grade where you are, self-assessment today. Step 2 is going to be get really clear on where you want to go. See, once we know where we are, and then we know now with clarity where we want to go and what some of these defining moments, what some of the actual metrics are around success in our life, how we define success, how we can actually evaluate it. And we look at it on our Sunday success planning and say, you know what, this last week, this is where I won. These are some areas I want to improve on next week. See, this is how we get clarity and we can move forward. And so that stage 2 is equally as important, because now we're defining our future and it's a vision for where we want to go. Now, step 3 for us is fill in the gap. Fill in the gaps, because that first part of where you are and the second part of where you want to be, we all have gaps in our game. We have gaps in our game. Like if I were to look at my journey today, whether it is in business, whether it is in leadership and recruiting our team right now, whether it's in the time I spend with my family, whether it's in my health and fitness goals where I'm doing my InBody, like there are goals I have, there's metrics to measure them. And there's a gap between that first phase and that second phase of where I am and where I want to be. So this is the fun part, because now we get to devise a plan and say, okay, this is where I want to grow in the next season. I love 90-day sprints on this. If you've listened to me before, you've heard me talk about this. 90-day sprints, you reverse engineer success and say, in a day, these are the things I need to get done. Prioritize them in your family, in your faith, in your fitness, in your finances, in your friendships, and the teams that you're building. If you're a team leader, how you're actually approaching this every day. You just reverse engineer. These are the people I need to talk to. This is what creates wins in my life and my business. This is where I need to spend my time. Then it gets really cool, because on Sunday night or Sunday success planning allows you just to put these things in and have your calendar baked for what success is going to be. So when people say you've changed, I hope so. I hope people come back to you on a regular basis, maybe multiple times a year, and say, dude, you've changed, right? And last year I shared some of the story with all of you, is you could visibly see the health journey that I dropped body fat from 16 down to 8, right? Like I changed clearly. The inflammation in my face, my body, what I went on there now allows me to speak life and to give people insights into the journey I've been through. Until you've been through that journey, it's hard to show people how you've changed. It's hard to give people the roadmap, the blueprint to how they can create change in their own life. So yeah, I hope people say you've changed. It's growth. That's what growth looks like. And so if you're on that journey today, I'm just going to invite you to lean in a little bit more. Lean in a little bit more and find out what you're truly made of in the unseen hours. In the times that you know there's a point of decision where you don't want to go do something, but instead of letting your feelings speak louder, your standards win. Your standards win. And every day we attack each day like it matters, because it does. So guys, get after it today. Make sure you make every day count. If I can help you with anything throughout this journey, if something's resonated, drop us a comment, leave us a review over on Apple. 5-star would be awesome. Make sure you leave some comments there, because that's how we get this out in the hands of more people. I had someone reach out this morning and they said, hey, I've been listening to your podcast. I was on a long drive. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. And the guests that we share and the solo episodes are just designed to give you a little spark, a little ignition towards where you're already headed. See, I don't believe I can provide you that much motivation, because your end-up motivation will fleet. It will go away. But if I can provide you tools and shift the frame, and your mindset changes, your beliefs change about who you are and who God created you to be, you're going to take actions in alignment with that. So that's what today's all about. I hope people say you've changed. If they haven't, go out there and start doing the things that you know you need to do, and watch how your life changes for you, for those that you care about. Guys, thanks for tuning in to another solo episode of Competitive Edge Podcast. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.